This is problem on page 40 in the workbook. So we're given that big G, yellow, is dominant, little g, green, is recessive, big W is round, dominant, little w, wrinkled, is recessive. And we're given these phenotypes and genotypes right here. In order to get the gametes, we have to distribute this G with this W, this G with this W, and then this G with this W, this G with this W. Same on this side. This is what we get right here. So we get one GW from those two, this GW from these two, this GW from these two, and this GW from these two. Same on this side. And so we get a total of 4 out of 4 GWs, which is just equal to 1 out of 1 GW. Same on this side. Now we need to cross them. So we have 4 of these GWs, 4 of these GWs. We put them in a Punnett square, and we cross them. This GW with this GW makes big G, big W, little w, all the way across, combining these two. And we get a total of 16 out of 16 big G, big W, little w, which is just equal to 1 big G, big W, little w. And for the F1 phenotypes, big G, big W, little w, that's still yellow round. So combining the F1 phenotypes, we get these genotypes right here. So we get big G, big W, little w crossed with the same thing. In order to get the gametes, we still have to distribute. So this G with this W, this G with this W, same on this side. So we get this G with this W, GW, this G with this W, big G, big W, big G, little w, sorry. Then we have little g, big W right here, and then we have little g, little w right here. Same on this side. And so we have 4 different genotypes now. So we have 1 out of 4 big G, big W, 1 out of 4 big G, little w, 1 out of 4 little g, big W, and 1 out of 4 little g, little w. Same on this side. Now we have to cross the F1 genotypes to get the G2 genotypes. Okay, so I'm going to be using the fork line method that we learned in class. So I'll take this one first right here. The 1/4 big G, big W. All we're doing in the fork line method is we're taking one on the left side or right side. I like to go from left to right. So from this one, and we're going to distribute this one to this one, this one to this one, this one to this one, and this one to this one. We're just distributing this one to all 4, and we have to do this for all 4 on the left side. So for right here, we get 1/4 big G, big W, and now we have to cross it with this 1/4 big G, big W. We also have to cross it with this 1/4 big G, little w. We also have to cross it with the 1/4 little g, big W. We have to cross it with the last one, 1/4 little g, little w. So, basic math. So we get 1/16 crossing. So we get big G, big W, big W. Same with this one, 1/16. Big G, big W, little w. This one to this one, 1/16. Big G, big W, big W. This one and this one, 1/16. Big G, big W, little w. Now we're gonna name the phenotypes for each one. So this one is yellow, round, This one is yellow, round. This one is yellow, round. And this one is yellow, round. I'm going to be abbreviating these because it's a little repetitive to write, so I'm just going to do a y dot r dot later. Now we have to take the next one, which is 1/4 big G little w, and cross it with all 4 of these on the right side. 1/4 big G little w. So now we have to cross it with our 1/4 big G big W, our 1/4 big G little w, cross it with our 1/4 little g big W, and our 1/4 little g little w. Doing the same thing that we did above. So we get 1/16 big G big W little w. Then we get 1/16 big G little w. Then we get 1/16 big G big W little w. And then we get 1/16 big G little w little w. And naming the phenotypes, this is still yellow round. This one right here is yellow wrinkled. This one still yellow round. And this one right here is yellow wrinkled. Doing it for the next one, 1/4 little g big W. Crossing it with the rest of them. So we get 1/4 big G big W, 1/4 big G little w, 1/4 little g big W, and then 1/4 little g little w. Same thing as the 2 above. So we get 1/16 big G little g big W 1/16 big G big W little w. 1/16 little g big W Let me get 1/16 little g big W little w. Oh, sorry. And then we're going to be naming the phenotypes. This is still yellow round. This one's yellow round. This one is green round. This one is also green round. Continuing on with the next one. So we got our 1/4 right here. Little g, little w. Little g, little w. And we got to cross it with all of them. So we get our 1/4 big G, big W. Our 1/4 big G, little w. 1/4 little g, big W. And our 1/4 little g, little w. Okay. Same thing as we did with the previous 3 above. So we get 1/16 big G, big W, little w. We get our 1/16 big G, little w, little w. 1/16 little g, big W, little w. And our 1/16 little g, little w, little w. We're going to be naming the phenotypes now. This is yellow round. This one is yellow wrinkled. This one right here is green round. And this one right here is green wrinkled. Okay. For the genotypic ratio, all we're doing is finding all the different types of patterns that we see pretty much. So we're going to count how many big G's, big W's there are, how many big G's, big W, little W's there are, so on and so forth throughout the entire thing. So we're going to count the big G's, big W's first. Big G's, big W's. Big G, big W right here. So looking through, we know we have one right here. So therefore we only have 1/16 big G, big W, big W. Now we're going to count how many of big G, big W, little W's there are. So going back to our list, big G, big W, little W, here goes 1. So big G, big W, little W, here goes 2. And that's the only one that we have. So we have 2 big G, big W, little W. 2 right here. Now the next one we're going to count is big G, we're going to count big G, little W, little W's. Okay. So we're looking for big G, little W, little W. So we get none up here. We got 1 right here. That's the only one we have. So we have 1/16 big G, little W, little W. The next one we're going to find is big G, big W, big W. Okay. We're looking through big G, big W, big W. So here goes 1 right here. Big G, big W, little W. Big G, big G, little G, big W, big W. Here goes 2. We only have 2. So we have 2/16 big G, big W, big W. And the next one we're going to count is big G, big W, little W. So going through, big G, big W, little W. Here goes 1. Big G, big G, big W, little W. Here goes 2. Here goes 3. And here goes 4. So we have a total of big G, big W, little W. We have a total of 4. So there are 4/16 big G, big W, little W. Okay. And the next one we're going to find is big G, little W, little W. So big G, little W, little W. So we have 1 right here, 1. We have 2 right here. Big G, little W, little W. So we have 2/16 big G, little W, little W. Okay. Now the next one we're going to find is little G, big W, big W. So little G, big W, big W. So we have 1 right here. Little G, big W, big W. Little G. You only have one of those. 1/16, big G, little g, big W, little w, big W, sorry. So the next one, we have little g, big W, little w. Okay, so we have little g, big W, little w. Here goes 1. Here goes 2. So we have 2, little g, big W, little w, 2. And for the last one, we have little g, little w, little w. So we have 1 right here. So 1/16. Now comparing them, going in order. So we have our genotypic ratio. We have 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ones. For the phenotypic ratio, we're going back and we're going to be looking right here. So I'm going to count the ones that I see the most. So yellow round up here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 yellow rounds. So we have 9 yellow rounds. For the next one, we'll do yellow wrinkled. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 yellow wrinkled. The next one, we're going to do green and round. So we have 1, 2, 3. And we have 3 green and round. For the last one, green and wrinkled, there's only 1. So 1 green and wrinkled. So the phenotypic ratio is 9, 3, 3, 1. I'm sorry if you didn't see the papers when I was writing this. I'm looking more at my handwriting than the actual video, so I do apologize, but here goes the full paper for this one. So for yellow round, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is where that 9 comes from. Then we go to the next one, which is yellow wrinkled. We have 1, 2, 3. 3 yellow wrinkled, which isn't where that comes from. Then we go to the next one, green round. We have 1, 2, 3. That's where this 3 comes from. And then we have to do green wrinkled. 1. There's only 1. So we had 9, 3, 3, 1 for the phenotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio, we had 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I do not mind helping. I have so much free time. So, yes.